Hi, everybody. This is Anthony. Just wanted to welcome you to another 10-minute learning series. Today, what we're going to go over, and let me share my screen here. Today, what we're going to go over is utilizing the MLS Connect button in zipForms to be able to pull together or pull in data from the MLS directly onto your contracts. So with that said, let's go over what this will do. So what you're going to do is you're going to be in the MLS. And of course, not going to be in the MLS, you're going to be in zipForms. So what MLS Connect allows you to do is it allows you to import MLS listing data directly onto your contracts. Now, this is a great tool if you're putting together a transaction for a buyer or even putting together a transaction even for a tenant. So instead of you having to go back and forth between MLS, the listing input, or in your contracts where you're inputting data, what you can utilize MLS Connect for is to immediately import the MLS data from the MLS and put it directly onto your contract. So how this is all going to begin is be in zipForms. So here in zipForms, we're going to be at our transaction list. So now we're just going to simply create a new transaction. So we're going to go over towards the top right and click on where it says new. From here, when we go to create a transaction, we're going to create a new transaction for a buyer, or we can create a new transaction for a tenant. But in this case, we're going to create one for a buyer. Typically, standard, we name the transaction. We're going to choose the transaction type. Now, before we come down below and hit save, what we're going to do is come over here towards the right-hand side, and we have a button here that's called MLS Connect. When we click on MLS Connect, because we're representing a buyer, we know that the listing's in the MLS, we want to save ourselves time and effort to type up the contract quickly because time is of the essence, especially today when it comes to making offers on a property. We want to have the transaction typed up quickly and easily. We're going to very simply click on the MLS Connect button to help us out. From here, it defaults us to our MLS system, in this case, CRMLS. We have the residential property type selected, but in case for whatever reason you are representing a buyer on another property type, click the down arrow next to the property type or the listing type and find the listing type. Now, when you type in the MLS number, when you go to find the listing, if the MLS number doesn't match the list type, you won't be able to find the property. So it's important to always make sure that you always select the correct list type. Then we're going to type in the MLS number to the property. So I'm going to type in a super old MLS number here just for demo purposes. Now I'm going to say find the property. Now what I'm telling the system to do in this find is for CRMLS and zipForms to talk together and hopefully find the property data, which it did here. Now I'm going to say use the listing data. Now at this point, I can apply my buyer's template if I choose, but if I don't, that's okay. Just simply hit save. From here, the transaction has now been created. And we're going to see right here on the property summaries area of the transaction, there's information already pre-typed in. And that information is all pulled from the MLS. So now when I go to the all forms section to add a form or forms like the cover sheet, the purchase agreement, so on and so forth. And now I come over towards the left to click on the actual contract, like the cover sheet. I'm now going to type in my buyer's name, their email address. But now when I start to scroll down a little bit further here on the cover sheet, we're going to come down below to page 2, and we're going to see that there's property information all pre-filled in. Here's the MLS number we typed in. Here's the address. Here's the APN number, the list date, the list price, the HOA fees. All that's pre-filled in for us. We scroll down to page 3 where we type in our brokerage information, but we also have listing brokerage information, all pre-typed in. So what MLS Connect allows us to do is now quickly and easily import information from the MLS directly onto our contracts. Now, information that's not populated in on the contracts are the seller's information. Why is that? Well, because in the MLS, we do not type seller information in on the MLS. So there's no MLS data of the seller's data on a listing. So that information is not populated in. Not to mention, unless we're representing the seller, that's really not us or for us to have. That's for the listing agent to have. So down below here, we're going to see on the purchase agreement, the information's all typed in. The listing agent, selling agent office, or all typed in. The address is all typed in, APN number. So we're going to be able to see things or have things typed in that normally might not have been able to be typed, or we would not have thought about typing, like MLS number, HOA fees, what the list price includes and excludes. Okay, so that's the MLS Connect. Now, real quickly, that's just one access of MLS Connect. So here we can click on create a new transaction for a buyer, and we can click on MLS Connect here. But what happens if we forget to do it here? Because our days are so busy from time to time that we might forget to do the MLS Connect here. Do I then just recreate a brand new transaction where I do it again? No, you don't have to do that. As a matter of fact, what you could do, if we're creating a new buyer offer and we forget to do the Hemingway, and we forgot to do the MLS Connect here at the creation of the transaction, what we can then do is from after the transaction has been created, we have two other spots to utilize the MLS Connect. The first is that after we add the documents, we can go to the documents area, and at the documents area, over towards the left-hand corner, we have the MLS Connect button here, where we can click on it and then again follow the procedure to import the MLS data, or we can be within a contract as we're getting ready to edit the contract. And when we click on the contract, we can now immediately come over to the top left corner to where it says MLS Connect here and click. And then again, import the MLS data. So there are at least 3 different areas where you as an agent can import MLS data onto your contracts. The first is from creating the transaction itself immediately under the new button, purchase MLS Connect here. The second is being within the transaction under the documents area, where we get to see all of our forms, and over at the top left corner, we get to see MLS Connect here. Or the third place is being within the form itself. While we're editing the form, we can come back over to the top left and click on MLS Connect here. So here are 3 different methods or 3 different ways that we can utilize MLS Connect to be able to import the MLS listing data. I hope everybody's enjoyed this 10-minute video on how to use the MLS Connect button. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me at tony@ocrealtors.org, or that's Tony, Tony, at ocrealtors.org, or feel free to contact me at 949-586-6800, extension 104. Hope everybody has a great day. Bye-bye.